5th of May at Mountain Gardens, we're going to look at a couple of species of viburnums which are known as cramp bark. This is Viburnum prunifolium, the American cramp bark. A small tree often found in moist locations, stream sides and so on, but that's not where it is right here. Quite common in the Piedmont of North Carolina, a little bit less common up here in the mountains, but I've definitely seen some nice colonies of it. So this is just about finishing up blooming, and then it's going to get fruit, which will go from green to red to black, sometimes called black haw, haw being hawthorn or wild raisin. The fruits of this, and I think probably all the viburnums, are edible, but their seed is just too big to think about really eating them. They're nice food for wildlife, and you could probably make mead or different kinds of preparations like that out of it. Maybe you could figure out how to peel it away from the seeds and make it kind of a fruit puree, because it does have a nice flavor. But the main medicinal action of it is for cramps, menstrual cramps, and it's the root bark in particular that's favored, although some people just use the bark, period. And then we want to look at the European cramp bark, which is more of a shrub, an ornamental shrub. That's Viburnum opulence. So let's go look at that. So this one is Viburnum opulus, which we could call the European cramp bark. Much shrubbier than the American one. And this is used a lot in the nursery trade. In particular, there are some that are called snowballs. So the viburnums and a lot of other things like hydrangeas can have two kinds of flowers. This is called a lace cap arrangement, where you got the sterile flowers in here, the fertile flowers in here that are going to make seeds, and then they're surrounded by these sterile flowers that are bigger and showier, and they attract pollinators or whatever. But there are some versions of this, as there are of hydrangeas, where it's all sterile flowers, and they make these big, huge, what are called snowballs. So if you see this snowball bush in somebody's front yard, it's either likely to be either a viburnum or a hydrangea. This one, however, is the lace cap, which is a much nicer bloom, and it's just getting going. These little lace cap flowers along the outside will get quite a bit bigger and showier, and it's used the same way as the American one. So this is also a cramp bark used medicinally. Now there's recently come on the market several selections from Europe that are selected for better quality fruit. So presumably they would still have the same medicinal action, but they're also going to have a more interesting fruit. And we might look at one of those next. So this is a variety of Viburnum opulus, the European cramp bark. This one is called Ukraine. You can guess why. And this is supposedly selected for better quality fruit that we might actually do something with. So this is the first year it's flowering so heavily for me, and I'm very excited to see what the fruit's going to be like, and we will make a video of it later on when we harvest the fruit. You can see this is a vigorous plant. Here's this year's new growth just shooting up, and this is last year's growth. So all the viburnums are opposite leaved, opposite twigs, opposite stems, opposite everything. Which is rather less common than alternate in shrubs. So if you see opposite leaved shrubs or trees, there are less. Viburnum is one. And these viburnums are very common in parks and landscape gardens, because they're beautiful in the spring, and then they have beautiful fruit display in the autumn. So they're just big in the landscape trade in general. There are also some of them that are extremely fragrant, amongst the most fragrant spring flowering shrubs. But these are the two that have a medicinal use, Viburnum prunifolium and Viburnum opulus.